Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. This is another WordPress tutorial, and in this video I'm simply going to take you through the basic WordPress setting configurations. This is especially great if you have a brand new website, and this is something that I always do whenever I do brand new WordPress installations. So yeah, let's get started. First thing you want to do is make sure that you are signed into your WordPress admin dashboard. Then we can go over to settings and then start with the general settings. So the first thing that we want to change is our site title. I'll just put in the website. Cool. Close those. If we go and view the website, currently it says my WordPress website. So this is essentially what we're changing as the title. Now we can also add a tagline, which is optional. I'll just add it for this tutorial. So best website. And then we can also choose a site icon. I don't have one currently, but your site icon is pretty much just this little icon here in the tab, and that will also display in your Google search results. So that's all good. And then when it comes to the site address URL, if, for example, you choose not to have your website without the www dot, you can make those changes here. Just double check it doesn't impact with your web hosting provider. Sometimes there's conflicts and then things break, but usually you can just change it right over here. Cool. And then you can also open up your site membership to let anyone register on WordPress. Cool. And then a very important setting is your time zone. So this is particularly important for publishing articles and making changes and things like that. So if you want to make sure that when you publish an article that it reflects in your time zone, make sure you choose your time zone. But it may be you publishing articles in Australia and you want to use Australia's time zone, and then that's something you can change here. Date format and time format, also important. For example, if you want to use the US date format or UK date format, or you want to have the month spelled out, then that is something that you can change here. There you can also add a custom format. Simply click on this link and then it will guide you through what the different letters, the format strings are. For example, this format string represents this date, and then here we can see what the characters refer to, and you can mix and match and then find the format that you would like. Similarly for the time, you can do the same, and you can also change which day of the week your week starts on. So we can just say save changes. So if we go to our website now and then hit refresh, and it should show us our new site title and our new tagline. Awesome. Now we can go to our writing settings. So over here, this just pretty much refers to the post category. This is your default post category. So let's say you publish an article and you don't assign a specific category to it, then it will fall under this category. WordPress has a default uncategorized category, but you can also change the default post category, which is particularly useful if you have a site like a news site, for example, and you publish something that doesn't have a specific category, but you, for example, want to put it under news or latest, then you can change that here. Just create your new category under the posts category section. Then your post format, there's a couple of standard WordPress formats, but this will also depend on your theme. Cool, so we can save changes. The mail server, this is more used with sending notifications and pingbacks and things like that. I pretty much just leave it as is. We can go on to the reading settings. So this is very important. I like to choose a static page because here I can then select a specific home page, which I still need to set up, and a post page, because at the moment on the home page it just shows the articles. And then you can also configure the articles or your blog page and show how many articles you want to show and whether or not you want to show the full articles, and also if you just want to show the excerpt and have people click through to the articles. But this is only useful if you're really using the built-in WordPress theme. But if you have a different theme, then the theme might come with its own options. So I'll just save changes for now. Cool. So now it should update to the sample page. So there we have it. Now we have the sample page. Cool. And then also, if for example you're still building the site, you're still playing around with things and you don't want your site indexed into Google yet, you can just discourage search engines from indexing the site. That will just just block the robots from crawling your site. So that is something you can configure here. But when you are ready to launch, don't forget to come and turn off this setting. Then discussion. This is if you are going to be accepting comments on your blogs, and there's a couple of settings that you can come and configure here. So yeah, if you are planning on using comments, do have a read through this and then make any options. For example, you can limit comments to users that are signed in, which is a great option to avoid like spam. So definitely come take a read here. Then media, you can just specify your thumbnail sizes, the default sizes for images. This is particularly on your blog post featured images, and also thumbnails, which will be used in your page feeds like your blog or your article pages, your category pages or your home page feeds, for example. Cool. Then very important setting is the permalink settings. So this is your URL structure for published articles. This is very, very important because if you start publishing and then later down the line decide to change this, it can be a very big hassle to make sure that you don't lose out on traffic and you have to redirect all your links, and it can impact your site's your page's authority, because when you publish an article, that link or the domain, the URL of that article will build authority, and if you suddenly change that, the new URL will need to build authority, and you also have to redirect the old one. So it is a very big mission to change this if you don't set this up properly from the get-go. So there's a couple of structures. This all depends on what kind of site you are using. Definitely look at other sites in your industry. For example, if you're a publisher, look at the different kinds of URL formats that other publishers have. A common one and a recommended one is post name, but if you do publish very similar content, then you can do something custom, which is like post name plus post ID, or you can remove that. And if you, let's say, want to have the category in, so let's say you have a publication that has different sections like finance, crypto, then this can be, for example, finance or crypto, and then your post name, and then maybe a post ID, which is the correct structure. But definitely look at other sites similar and then see what kind of content you'll be putting on the site and which structure will be best for you to organize and really analyze your content. So yeah, and then you can also add a base, for example, so like we mentioned, the finance or crypto, and then yeah, this topics could be a base, category base. Same for tags. So yeah, let me just say that new structure. Cool. And then also very important is your privacy policy. So here you can set the privacy policy page to use. WordPress standard comes with a default privacy policy page. So here we can see it's always in drafts. So do go and edit it, make the necessary changes so that it fits your website, and then once you are ready, do publish it, because yeah, pretty much a privacy policy page is standard and needed for pretty much every single website. Just discusses how you handle data and what data is processed, so definitely look through that. There is also a policy guide, and yeah, if you have any other plugins and things installed, usually you'll also see the settings pages under settings, or should be able to access it through there. But yes, that's essentially the basic settings that you need to configure for WordPress. Once that's all done, you can go straight into building your site. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.